Yes. Oh, this is gonna be fun.
I know, I can't wait. Okay, let's type it in there while we're doing it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where do we type in?
We can say live with each other.
Yeah, you put live with Honey Dip, you do live with Untamed. Oh, emoji.
It's so funny.
Hey, y'all. I'm so country.
Me too.
I'm so country. How do we pin?
Click on your comment. Where's your comment? Oh, you gotta post it first.
Post it first.
Mm-hmm.
And now click on
And
it.
then click on yours. Well, no, just
And then pin comment.
There you go.
Hey, that's my first time
Boom.
doing a pin.
Ew.
Hey.
We fancy or whatever.
Hey,
I think I should
y'all.
put my phone on Do Not Disturb because people.
Oh.
I'm already seeing everything come in. I'm like, you're doing the most.
Okay. So just. Okay. It just paused it.
We'll just have to cut it like we did the last time.
Okay.
Because you know this stuff started lagging.
Oh, wait. I got a full charge. Do you have a full charge? No.
We'll be good though. I got more charge than I did last time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, y'all.
Hey.
We're just going to give a few more people time. Okay. You excited?
I am excited.
We can kind of talk about Ken since it's in
Oh,
here.
can we open it up?
Yeah, let's do
I
it.
need my little stuff.
Okay, hold on. I think sorry.
What was it?
My water.
Oh, okay. I was like, oh no, we just started.
Okay. We ready.
Okay, guys. Hey, y'all. I guess we'll reintroduce ourselves.
Okay, you go first.
Again, and then like in 10 minutes, people come in.
Yeah, shut up. Stop it.
You like it?
Yes.
I did my makeup myself.
Shut up.
Okay. Keisha's out there, her pole class. I have to fend for myself. But hi everybody. I'm Sheridan Labbe, the owner of Untamed Lingerie, and I'm here with the lovely
Aneisha Muhammad, curator of Honey Dip Yoni Spa.
Yes, so we're back for another live Tuesday. We're gonna give people a little more time to get in, but while we have you in our waiting room,
That's
let's
cute.
let you know. Let you know we're sipping on. Last week we had some Ken products. This week I brought back Ken Spritz. So Ken is a product, Ken Euphorics to be exact. It's a product that makes a company that makes natural, organic drinks that are the equivalent of liquor without liquor. And so this one is Ken Spritz, so it's like a upper. So it has some high road in there and like their own little mixture. It's like a grapefruity, like soda-ish.
Oh, I'm excited.
Really good. So this is like, has all type of like adaptogens, herbs in there to really just getting you feeling bubbly and good without needing liquor, basically.
Yes.
So I'm doing their 30-day no liquor challenge. It's called Bliss-tober. So we're choosing bliss over booze. So we are halfway through it. It's actually been really good. So I don't know how much liquor I'm actually gonna be drinking after this. So my friends are like, I'm like, I don't know, I may have been converted. So
Well, your Yoni doesn't like alcohol anyway, so.
we will definitely talk about that. We will definitely talk about that. Okay, let's see what we have in here. We got some people on.
Yeah, we should open it together. Oh, we should
Okay.
open together. I don't know. You have nails too.
I was
Okay.
gonna say,
I don't know how this is gonna go.
you got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, we go.
Okay, cheers to another
Cheers.
IG Live.
Tuesday.
Yes.
It's past my bedtime, I ain't gonna lie.
Well, you're gonna be up.
Well, that's why I'm in a row.
I was like, this is definitely gonna
I'm
be
in
your
my
live.
row because
You're
it's
gonna get your
bedtime.
live
Like,
in.
let's not play. Okay.
I was like very comfortable today.
Is this gonna give us wings?
It's a good one.
Ooh, this is good. Okay.
Well, good. I'm glad.
Yeah.
I didn't know what that noise was for at first. I was like,
Wait. Oh, okay.
I'm good. I'm glad you like
Okay.
it. Because one of my friends, I gave it to him and he was like,
Yeah, I support this, y'all.
yeah, it's good. I like it a lot. So,
Okay.
we
I like the
can get
grapefruit.
started. Yeah,
Okay.
it's like a grapefruity like ting in there. So y'all be sure to check them out.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's go.
So
for it.
on this version or this week's live, I'm gonna be interviewing Aneisha. So we're gonna learn all about Honey Dip Yoni Spa, Yoni steaming, the future of Yoni steaming. Just so many
Oh,
things.
that's fun. I'm
So
excited
many
about
things.
that.
So many things. So first, just kind of tell us. You told us a little bit back last week, but just tell us about how you even started Honey Dip Yoni Spa, because you started when Yoni Steaming wasn't really even
a thing here. Like a thing here. Yeah. It was a thing because it's been a thing, but it wasn't a thing
here.
True,
yes, true.
Okay. How did I get started? Girl, I hated my job. I hated my job.
What industry were you in?
So I was in property management, and anyone who's done property management knows that it's like this beast that sucks the life out of you.
Yeah.
No, for real.
Yeah, really. And like fun, but it's also like.
And it just kept getting worse and worse. And also, I wanted to do something that would cater to my feminine self, right? I got tired of being in this masculine, male-dominated world. And I remember I thought about starting my own property management company, right? And I'm still not so sure that won't happen.
Okay.
But that was my thought. And I was thinking, you know, first thing I'm gonna do when I start my company is none of my employees or team members, because I hate the word employees, none of our team members will ever have to worry about working the first 2 to 3 days on their cycle. Like every woman deserves
that would be
the first 2 to 3 days.
Women need our periods off.
No, seriously.
No, seriously.
Because physically we are we're cleansing ourselves and still rebuilding ourselves for the upcoming month. And it's so important that we cater to that. Yeah. So I was thinking, well, you know, menstrual health is so important to me. It was so important to me because I struggled with my menstrual health. Okay. Always have. Like my cycles have always just not been the best.
Of course, the American diet, I'm like, unless you know to take care of it, you think that what you're doing is like okay,
and that it's normal, right? It's normal to have horrible periods. It's normal for your cycles to not come every month. And I was going through all of that. I always have. I've always been hormonally challenged, always. So that's how I discovered Yoni Steaming, and I first heard about it when I was 15. So this was a long time ago.
Okay. Now we're not talking about her age. I'm just like, okay, that's like really young to just know about that.
Yeah, I mean, 23 years ago. Yeah. So that's kind of, I've been knowing about it for about 23 years. One of my parents' team members at their restaurant she's Haitian, and she Yoni steamed, like on a bucket. And so she would always, like once a month, take the pickle buckets home. And I was like, why take the pickle bucket? The empty one.
Okay, no. Okay. I'm just like,
so back in the day, y'all, like before the whole seats and the fancy way of Yoni steaming now, people steam on buckets. True. Literally.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
When I first started steaming, it was on a bucket. Okay. So I'm just saying.
No, I'm just
okay.
Look.
So we would put the little towel around the edges and like, you know, do what you gotta do. So that's when I first started Yoni steaming. And then throughout my 20s, my cycle regulated and it got much better. And then I hit 30 and shit went haywire. Like it was just like, yo, everything happened. And listen, when I hit 30, everything got dry. Like from my hair follicles all the way down to my toenails.
Let me just stop time right now because I'm like, this ain't it.
Everything got dry, and I don't mean like my lubrication was gone. It was like the skin. Like my skin just got dry. Yeah. And so I just started slathering coconut oil everywhere.
You was just like, something has to shake.
Something gotta give. And so that helped some. But I had a wonderful African doctor, and she was like, listen, we spent so many years not regulating this with birth control. Like, we always found ways to regulate it. So I'm sure there's a natural way for you to do this. Well, that's what she had to tell me in the office. And then later it was like, hey, girl, you know.
Not on the side.
You know that there's ways, right? Like, and she knew about my Yoni steaming page. Okay. So, yeah, that's how we regulated things. Yes. So, yeah, and it just literally, once I started, the creativity started. And, yeah, Honey Dip was born in Florida on the beach. I have my feet in the sand, and God was like, Honey Dip Yoni Spa.
Yeah, Honey Dip in the sand, all of the sun, all of the water.
That picture is still in my phone. Literally, my feet were in the sand. A girl. Best decision. Anyway, sorry.
No. I was going to say, this is us.
Okay.
So, like, you started and then you brought it to Houston. What's something, I guess, for somebody that, because a lot of people know about Yoni steaming, but a lot of people still don't in the same sense.
Okay.
So, what's the quick spill about Yoni steaming and, like, who can benefit from it?
Everyone. If you
have a leading question.
If you have a vagina, you need to steam it. Literally. Seriously, like our clients literally range from 12 to 80. Nope, now 81. Ooh. 12 to 81. So literally.
That's interesting. Mm-hmm. So on both spectrums, on the younger end, should you wait until you have your first cycle to start yoni steaming?
It's not necessarily a requirement. I won't steam you if you haven't had your cycle.
Right, because it's like, what's the point?
Yeah, it's a little early. Yeah.
And then on the older end, like, what's the benefits for the women that are more the seasoned women?
You're still cleansing because now you're not bleeding monthly, right? So you're still cleansing. Moisture, because when you're not bleeding, then that blood and oxygen flow is kind of what. And listen, y'all, 80-year-olds still have sex.
I mean,
I don't know who thinks that they don't, but they still getting it in.
You said 81. I was just thinking about my grandmother. I was like,
girl, she's still having sex. She's still getting it in. I'm just telling you.
And she might watch this YouTube video too.
Don't pop up on her. She's a Leo, right?
Yes.
Okay.
No. Anyways, that's just interesting. I know for me, like, I think the first time I heard about yoni steaming was probably like 4 or 5 years ago. And I think it also has to do with regulating periods. That's when I first read about it, and I was like, it just makes sense. I guess like when you're into natural stuff, you're just like, that just makes sense. Like it was one of those I didn't have to question it. Yeah. That's when I started like getting into steaming, and it's just been an interesting journey. So I know like we've talked before about just the different clients that you've had, that you've met over the years. What's some of the most like just craziest transformations that you've seen? Whether it's like people finding their husband, people just really like clearing out some shit to manifest something else. Like what sticks out?
One of my clients, well, several things. We've had a few clients who have had their bout with cancer and later have had very healthy, happy babies after yoni steaming and starting their journey. And those are things that we typically don't post about because we really hold what we have very dear, but it does happen. We have clients that started yoni steaming and using yoni eggs and setting boundaries and attracting their husbands. We have,
hear that, lady?
Yes.
Even though now in 2020 people are like, girl, ain't nobody looking for me.
Listen, no, it's not. Listen.
Most women are like, girl, I'm steaming for myself. That's it.
But these men that they're attracting, girl, they've been awesome. Like, it makes me go, oh, these men are still out here and good men. So, they're attracting some good men. So get your yoni steaming.
I'm here for it. Do you feel like yoni steaming, like what? So I know like on the physical side, like of course yoni steaming, we're clearing out a lot of, everything. But what is the emotional side to that? Like I don't think we don't think about that. Like our womb stores a lot of emotions. So
yeah. It really does help remove stagnation. So just like you're cleansing and clearing in the physical, that is also taking place on an emotional and spiritual level. So that's what yoni steaming does, because it gets things going and flowing, and your sacral chakra, where your yoni is your creativity chakra. It's where you literally manifest from. And so we've literally had clients to be sitting on the yoni steam seat and think about their business. Like literally, like instantly.
This is definitely well, we end up talking a lot too, but I'll come in, I'm just like, I usually will leave here and I'm just like very just like,
well, you notice
how giddy, but just like, it's something. It is. And I'll be like, I gotta prepare myself whenever I book my appointment here. I'm like, okay, you can't have nothing to do for another hour after that because
you need a moment. You need a moment. And the thing is that like we kind of intuitively feel our clients before they come in. So have you noticed there's some times where I'm like, oh, Sheridan, you need this thing to yourself.
Yeah, or she's like, okay, I'm gonna talk to you in 2 minutes. I'm like, oh, good. I do not want to be like, Aneisha, I'm just not gonna talk to you today.
And then sometimes, like, we feel like, oh, she want to talk, so let's sit down and let's chat it up. So, and a lot of people
kind of like therapists.
Well,
I mean, unlicensed guys.
Yeah.
But don't come over.
Listen, but however, and that's a lot of things that's a service that people don't know that we offer. So we do offer chakra readings. I do the chakra readings here. Miguel is a life coach. So she does life coaching here. Minyo's also an MD, you know, so a lot of people don't know that. So like we're experienced and we're educated and we're certified and all those things here. So you're not just going to somebody who just decided that, hey, I want to do this. Like we put some work. Listen, we put some work and some time and some dedication and some financing behind our education to actually.
They've been doing it for years.
Yeah.
And now we're. I mean, you said 2008, so over a decade. I think that's what That's what makes me feel comfortable coming here. Is like you built the relationship, but then you also, like you said, y'all have all these certifications and knowledge to back it up, and you're not just like, oh, I popped up one day and decided to start.
Yes, exactly.
Steaming vagina.
Yeah, because when I did decide to steam somebody else's vagina, I had been steaming my own.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's important because it's like I know you guys definitely offer services or mentorship, kind of like, hey, we have, if you want to purchase your own stools or chairs, I guess you say, you offer that, but you're also like, y'all operate in the integrity of like, we are. It's deeper than Yoni steaming. It's like you come here for a life transformation.
Well, I am the transition girl. That's what I call myself. So I always say, like, people find me in moments of transition. So you know that you no longer want to be where you were. You're not even there, right? And you know where you're headed. However,
you don't want to be where you're at.
Yes. And you're kind of knowing and on your way to where you are. And sometimes we just need a little, like, somebody to hold our hand and to give us that confidence to say, girl, you got this. Like, you got this. And you're going to come here and we're going to tell you, girl, you got this. Give me your hand. Let's go. We're doing this. No more excuses.
Girl, it's just so many things about Yoni steaming. I think for me, with my experiences too, or not my experience, but I guess I've just seen is that there's so many, everybody can benefit.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many different type of herbs or tinctures or blends where it's like, if you are postpartum, if you're trying to get pregnant, if you've dealt with sexual abuse, if you're trying to like get rid of energy from a past partner, like there's so many things that you can do. And we kind of talked about it last week, but it's like, can you really steam to get rid of like the energy of old lovers?
I'm not saying the energy. And the question is do you really want to totally wipe away their energy? Because there's a lesson in old lovers, right? There's a lesson that you learn. There's an elevation in that. So I'm not going to say you want to get rid of their energy, but you can definitely totally tap back into your own energy. And so people are always like, oh, so-and-so's energy, I just feel their energy all over me and whatever. No one's energy outweighs your own. So when you are truly rooted and grounded in your own energy, it is the most powerful thing that exists. So
she has spoken.
What Yoni steaming does is it reintroduces you back to your own energy.
I think so. I think that's really good. What's where do you feel like, I guess, where do you feel like things are going in the future as far as like Yoni steaming is concerned? Like, we were talking about things earlier before we got online, but like I feel like there's just so much growth. There's so much, like, a lot of people are coming into Yoni steaming, things of that nature, but there's so much growth that's happening. Like, what do you see future-wise for women, like, when it comes to that?
I love it. I love it. You know, a lot of times, because we do offer certification here, so many people would say, we do if you want to do this as a business. But so many people will say, well, you're creating your own competition. No. Like, what's happening is that every woman should Yoni steam, right? And so someone has to be there to steam all of these vaginas. If we at Honey Dip wanted to steam how many million vaginas are in Houston? Like, we couldn't even do it. Like, Miguel and I can't do that. So, you know, we need other women to tap into this and do it as a business. And the great thing about it is that so many women are starting to be able to, so it's twofold. Because what you're doing is women are introducing other women to Yoni steaming. And then the second half of that is that women are creating businesses that help them to sustain their family and to do so in a career that's very feminine and very divinely led. Like, our job is to
it's just all the things where you just like, you really do feel very well taken care of when you're doing Yoni steams, because it's just like you feel like you're pouring back into yourself type of thing. Like, it's I know it's like a re-energization. I know we've been talking a lot about emotional wellness too, because that's why you have this.
Girl, because I was about to lose my mind today.
You know, it's Mercury retrograde. If y'all keep up with all of that, and what does that look like for you, especially like in 2020? Like, how does because I feel like emotional wellness can also tie to yoni steaming and womb health. Cause, we talked earlier about that, but what does that look like for you? Especially because I feel like you're around a lot of energy because you are having clients. Like I feel like you're having to be mindful of the energy that you kind of interact with all
today. For real. Like,
somebody came in here and
like I was about to lose my mind because the thing about 2020 has created in us the moment to pause, right? Like we are forced to pause, and it's so important. Well, I almost lost my mind because
I was like, are you gonna tell us what happened? I was waiting too. I was like,
okay, so I'm gonna bare my soul to y'all, which I typically don't do. But let's talk about this. So what happened was when the shutdown happened in your service-based business, now you have to go into overdrive, right? How can you sustain a service-based business when the service can't happen?
Oh my gosh. See, I don't think I knew the shutdown extended this far.
Oh, we couldn't reopen until the end of May. So that's March to May.
Yeah.
And again, remember, we certify women, so therefore there are other women.
There's other people being affected too.
It's so many, and it's kind of like, so I don't care if a woman has been in business for 2 years. It's kind of like, wait, we're service-based now. What did I do? So what you do is call the person who certified you and be like, hey, what are you doing?
Right.
So I'm having to think about my business and other businesses and figure out ways to get things done. So it was almost like an overdrive, right? So we worked more during quarantine than we were before.
I feel like a lot of people's business picked up during quarantine. It was like everybody was closed, but then it was like people were still getting a lot of clients.
Well, you had to do something.
Yeah.
Right? So if you're service-based, now you have to turn into and make a way for your clients to be able to service themselves. Right? And the thing is that you don't want your clients to, in a moment in which a woman is going through probably one of the most stressful moments of her life, because this is something that none of us have ever experienced. Ever. And literally.
I don't even want to hear that word again.
So we've never experienced this. It is so important that now, in the height of something she's never experienced, her kids are home all day, her husband's in her face all day, these quarantine babies are coming, so that means this man has been all over her. It is most important now, it's more important now to cater to her yoni than it's ever been. So it was like overdrive. But I said all that to say, now my body is saying, okay, but wait. My mind is saying, wait. That moment that I created for everyone else to pause, you didn't do that. And don't think you get past that lesson.
So you're like, the last several months is like, hey, you forgot about us emotionally, so we're just gonna let the
We're knocking on the door, and I need you to take a pause. Right? And so when you don't take a pause and you don't honor that within yourself, then your mind starts to say, hey girl, hey girl, hey girl, hey girl, you need to calm down. So it's literally, it's screaming. Okay. And I'm listening.
Look, I think that's an important thing, like, just in general, I think, especially when you're an entrepreneur, but for women too, because I feel like we have to be all things to everybody all the time. And that's just not possible. It's just not. Like, for me, something I've realized within the quarantine is like, well, it's funny too, I was watching this reader today, and it was a Sagittarius reading, but it made me think about what you said. She's like, y'all are working on all these projects, but like, when can you just stop for like 2 seconds and like treat yourself to a nice lunch, or like make sure you do something for yourself today that's just for you. And so for me, what I've started doing is like my newest quarantine, or whatever we're in now.
Right.
Whatever Houston is doing.
Well, now it's like, okay, you rested, now go back to work and go back at a mass. Anyway. Okay.
I am like, I love putting my phone on Do Not Disturb. It's addicting. And it's crazy because I'm surprised I'm able to do it, but I needed to do it because I get so distracted and anxious about notifications. Like if I see an email, I'm like, I gotta respond to it right now. I literally cannot wait to respond. Like it's just like you said, something in me where you feel like you have to just go. So that's something for me emotional wise where I'm like, and it's not a set time thing. You could be in the middle of the day and I'm like, y'all are overwhelming me with text messages. I don't want to see I don't want to see another alert come across my phone for a good 2 hours. Like, do not disturb.
And it's crazy because I'm like that as well. And I, was talking today and talking this out and processing it. And it's like, this has forced us where it should have been teaching us how to step into our feminine. It has forced us into our masculine.
You think so?
I think so, because that's I gotta respond.
Yeah,
I gotta respond.
Yeah.
And so, like, when we're triggered, right? And that fight or flight kicks in, it's taking us back into our masculine.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, girl, you need to decompress. Like,
that's
you do the work of
came through.
And so your
like,
feminine self said, hey girl, I'm here. I need you to do that. And so that's something that we have to do.
Yeah, no, definitely being, like you said, being back in go mode, I've been like, okay, no, it's do not disturb. And it's like the most random times. It could be like, sometimes I'll get off, like before I came over here, like I went to the gym, I had like an hour and a half at home, and I was like, I'm not about to read all these text messages right now. None of y'all text me nothing that's urgent. Like, it'll be handled, but it's taken me a while to get to that point, because I always feel like I have to like respond. I always have to respond. I always know what's going on, and it's like, it's not going anywhere though. Like, especially because the people, like, I'm saying like you and me, like that other people like this don't exist, but I think there's levels of like achievers and high. Like, we're in the top percentage of high achievers, to where us not doing a lot is still somebody else is doing a lot. Yeah. And I mean that in the most like non-arrogant way possible, just in the sense of like, I think there are a lot of people who are entrepreneurs who we feel like, oh my God, we're not doing enough. And it's like, our doing the bare minimum is like the average person's a lot. And I'm saying all that to say that it's okay to slow down.
It is so
it's not going anywhere. Like 9 times out of 10 when people are emailing me about stuff, I'm like, it can be handled tomorrow if I can't get to it today. Like, it just,
you are speaking to my heart. You are truly,
our conversations always be on time,
girl, because
they always be on time.
So of course I have to bring, because listen y'all, I'm new to therapy and I'm learning tools and I'm open to tools.
We're just not talking about.
And so well, I think I found out I can say who my therapist is. She can't say that. Okay. So, but we're still not talking about who my therapist is.
Because we were like, we can't believe you said it.
But with that being said, today I even came to the realization that every time I sit down, my mind says, okay, now you're being lazy. Right? And it's like, but no, it's a horrible habit, and it's very masculine driven, right? And so we're women, so we're supposed to magnetize and show up for that, right? And so I'm like, okay, and the flow. So now I know I need to enter back into my flow, enter back into my allowing, and magnetize what I want and think.
Start a week of women not doing anything.
We should.
Women should just go on strike for a whole week. Like, we're not responding to emails, we're not cooking, we're not cleaning. We're not initiating any work, non-work.
Because what has happened is moms are having to work full time. Moms are not being teachers, but being teachers' aides, right? So you're helping your child with your school online, and you're being, it's like, and then your husband's at home, and he's just like, hey, you're at home, like, where's my dinner? And it's like, I worked, I had the kids, like, what are you talking about? So it's just, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Really
do we have any questions,
Aisha?
Do we have any questions? Should we look at the questions? Do we have any?
I think we just have a lot of emojis. I think it's just been all hey emojis.
Okay. I haven't been. Because we definitely don't want to miss.
What does that say?
Where?
We're off already.
Oh, okay. Sorry, we didn't want to miss any questions.
I need to Yoni steam mainly, but to get the entire experience.
Yes, come get the experience. The experience is amazing. Like,
it is life-changing.
It's crazy because every time, it doesn't matter how long I've been doing this, every time, personally, like my own personal Yoni steaming, every time I do it, I get something new.
Exactly.
And it's
always different. It's just always something different.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's been my experience too, like you were saying. Even with me coming in here and like my different moods, I still come out with different, like, it's just different. But going back to something you said earlier, I think what 2020 is like trying to remind us of is like choosing yourself. And whatever that means in that moment. Yeah. Like, I know for me, this year has been very like just returning back to self, like what you were saying with Yoni steaming. And that means like choosing yourself. So it's like, especially, I would be curious for you as like a full-time business owner. Do you take self-care days? Are you taking your sick days? Are you taking your my mental health days like you would if you were working for Joe Bob? Look, I'm putting you on the spot.
So the answer traditionally was yes.
Okay.
I was very dedicated to having my off days.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was something that I was very dedicated to. And the crazy thing is that when I opened Honey Dip, my thought is that I would have 4 days that I would work. I feel like no one needs to work beyond 4 days. If you work, you're
really free.
Right, but if you're working your butt off.
Lord, if you're listening.
And that's the thing. It's like there's no reason for us to work 5 and 6 days,
really
right?
Not, I mean,
you're not productive.
At least for me, like I know on the corporate side, I know there's other jobs where you really are having to work, but in corporate America, people are not working the full 8 hours. There's not 8 hours of work to do every day.
And the thing is even if that business has to be open 7 days, the team doesn't have to work 5 to 6 days. It's not necessarily a requirement. And so what that did for me is like I made a deliberate decision that we would be open 4 days because I would work 4 days. Well, guess what happened? After quarantine, I decided, well, I can add Tuesday. Like, we can do 5 days.
Not choosing herself.
Not choosing myself. So now I'm taking my Tuesday back. Because the truth of the matter is, we certify on Sunday. Typically, our courses are Sunday and Monday, which means I'm working Tuesday through Saturday, certifying on Sunday and Monday. So now I'm working 7 days.
I was like, that's 7 days. I'm not doing she went for 4.
But you know how it's like, well, it's not really working. It's just like teaching a 6-hour class or a 4 or 5 hour
mental
class.
Thing.
Like, it is.
That was something for me, and I've just now like started to do it where, like, really having your days where you don't check an email, like, because that counts. You know, like even if I'm like, okay, I'll just do 1 hour of just doing this before I go out.
Because it's never just 1 hour.
It's never just 1 hour. Then I look up and it's like it's been 3 hours. You've been on Canva. You've been on Twitter, scheduling stuff, all of that, and you like now you're working.
Right.
So,
yes. So I did take a step this year to get a personal phone. Right.
That is one of my goals. Because everybody already has your other phone number, so you want to have your own.
Well,
or vice versa.
I don't even know where the phone is. I haven't seen it in over a month. And no one has the phone number because in the crazy, listen y'all, the craziest story. So this is what I did. So when I registered the phone,
I'm just like,
when I registered the phone, I told the people, I said, listen, I need y'all to give me a Hawaii number because when I use this phone in my mind, I'm in Hawaii. So that's what I need y'all to do.
You are hilarious.
So I did that, right? So my area code is 808 because I'm like, listen, I need a Hawaii area
I'm
code.
here for the manifestation.
Right. So I'm thinking that to myself, right? But then what happened is that I got another device to charge. Right?
Yes.
So you have your iPod, your iPads, you have your iPhones, you have your MacBooks, you have the technology for your business, and now I have this phone that I have to charge. I don't have time to charge another damn phone.
Girl.
So
Girl got a whole trap phone and can't charge the trap phone.
So I'm just like, you know what? No more personal phone.
Okay.
But I've decided to find it.
Because you're paying for it.
I am. Every month.
Girl. I like the idea of it, though. There's a lady that I follow on Twitter who did that because she was, like, in grind mode for, like, 3 months.
Yes.
And she was like, I bought a personal phone. The only people that have my number are my parents and, like, my close friends. And I was like, oh, I might need to do that. Because that's been my issue is, like, with business notifications and stuff. I'm like, I love my clients, but I wake up at all times of night in the morning. It's like, I know you have ideas, but it's like, like I want to open my phone and not have to see anything business related. Something else I wanted to ask you that I thought of, like kind of not business related but Yoni related.
Okay.
So I saw this graphic like 3 or 4 weeks ago where it talks about how during our 28-day cycle, every week is like a different, not every week, but every like phase. 5 to 6 days of a phase. Like, can you talk about that more and how that ties into Yoni?
Yeah, so it's like the luteal phase.
Yeah. I was like, this is interesting if we actually like
follicular phase, like the ovulation phase. Right. And it's just like it's just, well, think about your ovulation phase is when you are most attractive. right? That's when, ladies, that you go in there and you make that deal because you're glowing. And, you know, that is the time where literally it's kind of like your full moon. That's when you're celebrating. That's when, you know, so it's that phase, like, you get what you want, okay? So use that phase to, literally. And so when you talked about that, but that's what we talk about when we have our mom and teen steams here. Is we kind of educate the girls, like, listen, that last week before your cycle, get everything done. That's when you're supposed to work your butt off and get off the things that you're
in that phase right
now.
And
you're so productive. You're so productive because once your cycle hits, then you're just supposed to, you're just kind of relax. Yeah. You don't even remember stuff on your cycle. Have you noticed that? It's like you're in this fog and you're not even there.
It depends on each, you know, every cycle is different, of course, because, like, seasons and how we eat. But especially in quarantine, I've been like, I'm in my bed. I guess that's what I miss too about being back at work. Like, it was so peaceful being at home on my period. It just feels like I'm not worried about anything. Like, I can just flow. You know, I'm not having to, like, pack a whole bunch of stuff or whatever it may be. Like, I'm just like,
and going to the public bathroom.
All of that.
Oh, God.
That was what made me realize, like, oh no, we really do need to be off.
Now, I will say this. During my cycle here, I do block our calendar. Either Mielle will work or and Mielle will tell you. There are days
we know what's happening.
There are days when I'm here and I try. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna sit there and keep Mielle company, and she will notice. I will not even say anything. I will pick up my bag and walk out the door. She'll be like, "Oh, okay, no, we doing today. Gotcha."
No,
right? And she's like, and the first time she was like, "Well, wait, where you going?"
Yeah, I didn't even say that.
Girl, I'll be back tomorrow.
That's the benefits of, like, entrepreneurship and everything. Like, all of
that's the benefits of having women around you who understand you, you know, and
they're like empathetic too, because, like, you talked about having a team, and, like, with my team too, we've been better about being like, hey, I'm overwhelmed, and like, I'm overwhelmed, I'm about to be off the map for the day, and you have to be like, okay, like, as a black woman especially, you understand, you like, I understand, like, you need the day, let us know what we need to do while you're gone, because I don't need you here stressed out. You know what I mean? That's not
you're not productive.
Yeah,
you
so
know,
you might as well just, like, go.
Because there are times that I feel the same way, and I'm gonna walk out the door.
I just told my team the night before, like, hey, y'all, I'm very overwhelmed. My phone's gonna be on the next serve. If y'all need something, just call twice and my phone ring. Otherwise, I will talk to y'all.
Well, see, I can't do that because my number is the business line. I'm telling you. Listen.
Oh, you literally have your phone number.
Yeah. So listen, ladies. I
don't know why I didn't realize that.
Ladies.
Yes.
When you start your businesses, well, this was my train of thought. So here's my ridiculousness. I thought to myself, okay, I'm opening a little Yoni steaming place. I don't need an extra bill. I'm gonna use my phone.
I mean, it makes sense,
right? And I'm like, because never do you think like, oh, well, my business will grow. And at that point, people will actually call the phone.
It's the calling for me.
I love it, though. It's the craziest thing because I love it because it'd be like 11 o'clock and I sleep because I'm an early bird. And I'm like, sleeping. Hello, Honey Dip Yoni Spa.
Girl, in the bed.
Literally 11 o'clock. I'm like, hello, girl. It's like it turns on. Well, this is the thing. We're dealing with people's yonis. So when do you think about your yoni? Sometimes at nighttime, and then they want to know, they online looking, and again, and it's kind of like that corporate training will, like, if you're not going to answer for them, then they're going to call the next person. You want to be the person that they talk to, so hey girl, Honey Dip Yoni Spa. That's that Leo, honey.
I mean, I get it, because I'm definitely like, okay, let me respond to this email. I get it. I'm just laughing at you laying in the bed.
Girl, no, literally, and I'm talking dead ass sleep, and I'll be like, hello, thanks for calling. And they'll be like, are you asleep? That's here.
I've been up.
Business hours for who? Who has business hours? And then, I'm the worst. This is where I actually have to pull myself back. So I'm an early morning Sunday worker. That's my thing.
Okay.
So the ladies who have,
everybody else is really just
like, so my brain is like ready, right? Because typically what has happened, because my new show now, which isn't a new show, but like it's a revamp show. My show is like Power Book 2, right?
Yeah.
So I typically watch that on Saturday night. So on Sunday mornings, I'm geared up. I'm ready to go.
Watch Power, y'all, and got
listen. So my little wheels are turning. My wheels are turning. So I'm like, hey, and I'm like thinking of all the things that the practitioners, if we do this together and we do this, because we're kind of like a collective. No, we are a collective. So we were like, hey, if we do this and we do that. And it'd be 6 o'clock and I'll send out a text message. And I'm like, damn, you can't really text them at 6. So I post in the Facebook group, so I post in the Facebook group. And then I'm like, but no, so-and-so would appreciate that. And I'm like, girl, it's Sunday at 6. Somebody's going to cuss you out one day.
But see, I don't even be checking them. I'll be like, okay, so-and-so text me at 8 o'clock. I'm not listening to her voice note, too. I've had to, learn to do that.
Oh, Lord, and I've discovered voice notes.
I love voice notes, though.
Aisha got me onto voice notes.
I love voice notes.
I have lost my mind. Like, I can actually just push the button and be like, hey, girl, and by the way. So, Aisha probably going to cuss me out one day, so.
I'm telling you, I wake up in the morning. I wake up and be like 6:30. I'll be like, nope, I'm not listening.
We be late at night.
We be on it popping.
Yes, I just be like, okay, when I'm ready to go to sleep, I'm gonna just have to.
And my friend Carmen, like with her creative mind, the beauty of women and us in business together, right? Like your team, we have a team of Honey Dip is supported by a team of other business owners that are women, right?
Support.
So, like Minyelle has Peace Beloved, and Asia has her company, and Carmen has her company. Okay, so my mind typically does very well at 5:30 a.m. And thank God I have my Carmen. So I'm at 5:30 a.m. just like, hey girl, hey. So I was thinking that we need to work on this logo and change this and maybe do this and this and this. I don't know how that's going to look, but can you create that for me and then send it back to me? And I love that she's the same way.
Like she's up at 5:30.
Yes.
Well, that's y'all the perfect match.
Yes.
Y'all got it made.
Girl, find people that are like you, that have the same vision and passion as you, and you literally can do anything.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm here for it.
Yeah.
Lord, do we have more questions? Let's see. I'm just trying to check.
I didn't see any.
Okay. I keep seeing things pop up, and I'm like, I can't tell if they're questions.
Because last week we ignored y'all. We promised
we're
not going to do
better today.
We're trying to do better.
Definitely
this is new to us.
Today, for sure.
Thank you, Keisha. Look at our Keisha. We love her so much.
She's
hey,
so cute.
girl. She is.
I did my makeup today.
And she is full of rhodonite energy, girl.
Yes.
I just love it. Oh, I love
all
it.
of
We
the
just got a bunch of heart eyes and
what she say?
Yes, to find people that are like you. Yes. Yeah, Keisha introduced Sheridan and I.
Yeah. Now I've been here getting my seams off.
Girl, I did my seam today. That's another thing. Like, yes, come on, girl. So that's another thing. It's like when you, because this is kind of, I love yoni steaming and I love business. So basically, I'm doing. Oh yeah, we can.
We'll table it.
Do what you love and don't forget to do it to yourself. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I yoni steam myself. And there are times that I might push the envelope with myself to reset. So, like, I do this thing where every 2 to 3 months, I go on like a 7-day yoni steam cleanse, right? And it just takes me to the next level of yoni steam. It takes me to the next level of clarity. It takes me to the next level of creativity. And it's just amazing. So 20 minutes for like 7 days, and it truly heightens you on a whole nother level.
I never thought about doing you should do like a whole thing.
I should.
Like a whole, we'll talk about it offline.
We'll do that.
Before I start getting my ideas back, somebody be like, oh, that's good. Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Yeah, but you have to push push yourself to the next level.
We didn't talk about yoni eggs or like sex.
I'll be right back.
We have like 10 minutes. I'm like, no yoni eggs, no sex, no nothing. Yoni eggs is something that I'm still getting into, guys. So, but Aneisha is going to talk about it.
So this is a yoni egg, right?
Pretty.
So this is a carnelian. This will be good for you.
It's really pretty.
Carnelian is that real sensual flow, like your sensuality, your sexuality, like your whole. It's just like a whole vibe, and it's like grown ass woman vibe, right?
Y'all better look out when I when I pop out.
Like Catwoman is just like, this is her, right?
Been in here 30 days with my yoni egg.
This is Catwoman. And with yoni eggs, basically what you have is a crystal that you insert into your yoni. So you're doing your Kegels, so it is a Kegel weight. Like, it is to strengthen your pelvic floor. But also, you know, and with that, like, it's in creating moisture because it's removing that stagnation by creating that fire. But you're also absorbing crystal energy into your womb space, right? And what better place to put it than to infuse it throughout your womb? Rhodonite. Rhodonite is a relationship stone. And the reason I say it's a relationship stone is because it helps you to become very serious about creating and manifesting the love you want to see forward. So it's just like, bring that love on, but it helps you to become that, and it's strong.
Make the snatch game lethal.
Make the snatch game. Hey, who said that?
Keisha.
Okay, Keisha. So we don't listen, boo. We gonna steal that. That's gonna be our quote all 2020. Yes, lethal. I love it too. So yeah, we're gonna, we're gonna use that.
That was really pretty.
Aisha, take notes on that.
Yeah,
we gonna send you a whole package.
Yeah.
Right. For that.
Well, we gonna
use that.
Yes. You gotta tell them, remember there was a girl you told me about that you gave her.
No, she got to run. So first of all,
she's like engaged or married.
No, she got married. And
in like 3 months
listen, first of all, Boo came through and she was coming to steam so much and bringing people, and then she got certified. And my spirit just loved her. She was a Leo, and she just she got her things together, and she's steaming, and she using her yoni eggs, and she praying, and she manifested. Husband came through. Last year, she didn't even know the person existed. Husband came through. She married. I'm happy for her. She's happy for her. Like, listen, God can do wonders when you start to cater to yourself and love yourself.
And focus on yourself.
Yeah, but you know what? I remember having a conversation with her, and she was just like, I'm done with everything that's not it. Period. And she was done.
There's a lot of that energy.
She didn't entertain it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So let me tell y'all something that happened to me. First of all, today I had a lot of revelations, which is why I'm in a robe, because I'm going straight from here to my bed, right?
I cannot.
But I said all that to say, so today I sent one of my exes a text message, because the truth of the matter is
Mercury
where I have issues so where I have issues is this, guys. I'm friends with all my exes, right?
That's not a bad thing.
No, girl, because they all worth something. I had some good exes.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
So I text one. I was like, hey, I really would like for you to do this for me. Mm-hmm. And so he said to me, okay, I'll look into that. But in the meantime, I would like for you to do this for me. Now, my old
face was like,
my old self would have been like, well, can I get this done for him? Like, maybe I can get this done for him. My new self, with Miss Rhodonite around my waist and sometimes going in my vagina, says, wait a minute. You told me you was going to think about what I asked you about.
So I need to do what you need to do while you think
about
it.
I need to do. Right, so I asked you something and you asked me in return, but we ain't even really solidified the fact that you can do. See, that's why the relationship didn't work, right?
You don't realize stuff like that when you're in relationship with people, because I've been in relationships like that. You like, I think I got you.
Right.
I didn't even get what I needed, but I already took care of you. You don't realize.
And so it was like, you know what? Wait a minute.
Miss Rhodonite said,
we're not doing that. Not in 2020. We done with that. That is over. Like, that's not going to happen. And so I said all that to say, she gave me a real quick, like a, girl, come back.
But come back. That energy is like in the air. We've been talking about that, where it's like what you said with your client, like having that discernment to where you're like, I'm not even about to play myself or mess up my energy by entertaining something I know is not even like aligned with what I want to do.
Right. Right.
Period.
Now, granted, what I asked for was a lot, right? But it went too much. It went too much.
But he didn't say yes. So it was like, well.
And my thing is that when I ask you for something, don't think about immediately how.
I need to ask back.
Right. Like, I'm done with that. Yeah. I'm so done with that. Like, I'm done over functioning.
Yeah. That's really the word for the day. That's really what we were talking about earlier with overfunctioning.
She said don't overfunction. She said we done overfunctioning in 2020. We're gonna.
She said, okay, I'm about to grab this roll, and I'll be here ready and waiting.
Because it's like when I'm asking you to help me level up, you need to help me level up, or you need to move around. What are you in my life for?
I don't even have a response because
to that.
I'm like.
So you know that work is done, and it's time for us as women to start understanding. Like, listen, you know. So I'm reading this book, and I will not reveal my source. But what I am finding out, is there any men in this? Look,
watch
we gotta start. We gotta.
I'm gonna guess the name of the book.
We gotta start getting away from men knowing our secrets. But what's the name of the book?
Why didn't you say what you're gonna say first?
No, tell me the name of the book because I got you.
I can't.
Okay. Sorry, I thought you was intuitively.
No, I ain't that far yet.
So basically, what this book is saying is like, listen, ladies, men have emotions too, because you know I've been saying like men don't live in their emotions, but also we underestimate how much men are actually emotionally attached to us, and that's where they win every time because we underestimating it. And they can play the waiting game a little while longer, just a tad bit longer than us. So if you just, and what I mean by it is like, you know what?
In my head.
She pissed off, but you know what? She gonna call me in 2 days. And on that second day, he about to die. This dude about to whole die.
On the fact of
but he's banking on the fact that you're gonna call.
You're talking about. But that's because that's how we've trained them to think, though.
Exactly.
So then you have to play the. I hate to say it's a game, but you got to be like, okay, well,
I'm gonna wait today.
Because listen, he does need you, and they have done.
You can play that game.
And they have done. And I don't believe in playing games. Like I've always been like, I'm not playing games. But the truth of the matter is that it is somewhat of a power dynamic, right? And we're not trying to outpower them. We're just saying is stop treating me like I have no value to you when you wasn't even thinking that you could achieve half the shit you achieved when you was with me. Like before you met me, you didn't even know this type of life was possible. Now you want to play me like I ain't. But you know what
I've learned? That was something good that you said too. What I've learned from just previous relationships is that we as women, like, we definitely give men a lot of like ideas and things, and we have to stop doing that. Like, we have to stop, like, not saying you can't pour into your partner, but I think a lot of us who are over functioners, we give them so many ideas and so many, like, to the point of, like, they do get bigger than their britches, so to speak, where it's like, okay, now I know I can do A, B, C, D, and E, and it's like, okay, well, what am I receiving in return? Like, I poured so much into you and giving you so many ideas and so much strength to go, like, tap into a new level, and then you're not even benefiting from that because they didn't move around and wanted to go do their own thing, you know? Like,
so you said some very important things. And what you said most of all is like pouring into your partner, right?
Yeah.
Like pouring into your partner. We have to stop pouring into our partners. That doesn't mean that we have to stop pouring into our men. That means this man needs to make himself my man before I pour into him. And not just like, oh, that's my boyfriend.
Right.
No.
Like your man.
No. He needs to be your man. There
like,
needs to be
almost to the altar.
If you believe in marriage, listen. And I had a friend to tell me this. Marriage is the least a man can give you. We've been conditioned to think that that's the ultimate fate. No, that's the least he can give you. Because you're literally about to revolutionize his life.
His entire life.
Literally. And that's the least. And so many men are like, well, you should not jump a hoop until he has made you and committed to making you his.
Make it easier when like this girl I follow on Twitter who's like a relationship coach. She's like, so many women feel so attached to relationships because they poured so much into, like, we gave too much of ourselves. Like, you got too emotionally attached, or you gave this person so much to where now you feel like you're attached because you got the short end of the stick. When if we had, every time you think of an idea for Joe Blow, it's like, okay, instead of me like sitting here for 3 hours helping you map out your business for a man that might not be my husband, let me go spend this 3 hours working on my business. Like, I think that's something that I learned from previous relationships. Like, yes, you want to pour, you want to be a helpmate, but like you said, for somebody that's a more long-term serious relationship, and if not, utilize that energy and pour it back into yourself, because you have to have something to show for yourself in your relationships too. Otherwise, you're gonna feel drained.
Yeah.
Because you're like, I didn't build this man's business up and this, and this, and now I'm like at home with the kids, like I have nothing to show for it. So,
and it's cool to do that for your helpmate, but he needs to.
That's
make
why I
you
was
his
saying your helpmate, which is legal.
Yes,
husband.
you know, and the thing is that so many women don't want to get married, right? Like I play around and say I might have 3 husbands, right? No lie. I used to be playing when I say that, but I ain't necessarily.
You never know. I mean, my grandma Leo had 3 husbands,
but I mean at the same time, like
I was like, that's
round them up, right? But seriously, on a real note, it's like we have to stop giving so much, and literally they give us the bare minimum.
I think we do it just across the board. I'm not saying any of us specifically, but I think we do it because at some point, women, we've been in relationships where we thought we had to prove ourselves or prove why we deserve to be their girlfriend, which is like, that's a stupid title at this point anyway, but like a lot of women feel it's like
girlfriend for
me. Yeah, it's the girlfriend for me. But a lot of women, we feel like we have to prove, like, oh my God, let me prove my worth or value to this person by like pouring so much into them. It's like he's benefiting from just breathing your air. Like you don't have to do nothing. I mean, not to say you should be useless, but you don't have to go above and beyond and over function for somebody that's not your helpmate.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree, and it stems from fear, right? Mm-hmm. Because we've been told that it's so many more men in the world that they totally outnumber us.
No, that's a lie. I was just talking to my trainer about this today. He brought it up because he was like, women are more likely to settle, and I was like, really? Like,
no, it's true.
I guess because I've known men that have too, but he was like, no, men will go find what they want. He was like, women, he was like, 2 things happen. One, a lot of women are used to dealing either with like, he said a lot of women are used to dealing with like assholes, basically. Mm-hmm. So where you dealt with them so much to where when somebody comes around that's like semi not an asshole, you feel like, okay,
that's it. That's the one. Like he is good.
This and this. And I was like, you think so? He was like, no, that's the thing. And he was like, also with us, with that whole timeline thing and of us feeling like there's not a lot of options out there. There are. Because I was telling him, I was like, well, as women, sometimes there's a pressure of like, oh, you're 30, you're 40, like there's nobody out there. And he's like, that's
the biggest lie ever told.
He was like, a lot of people end up settling because we're trying to rush and things like that. And it's like, there's really no rush. But you don't realize it until you get to these ages. And you're like, life is really just beginning. Yeah. Like, life is really just starting.
This was awesome.
Yeah. Okay, let's see if we have any final. Okay. Keisha said, come on, life partnership. Okay. Oh, hey, Morgan. Okay, somebody else is in here. Corey Chaz. Oh, y'all are so cool. Okay, let's see if there's any questions or anything.
I think I've kind of been going through it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. I just want to make sure. But yeah, do y'all have any last minute things before we go? This was good.
Yeah, it was. Mm-hmm. You want?
I've been getting my life.
So wait, how are we doing this? Are we doing something next Tuesday? Or are we? This is our last Tuesday. What we doing? So we got another Tuesday, right? Okay, good. Okay, awesome.
I'm like,
okay, because I'm
breaking up with me.
I'm not breaking up at all. I was hoping, but I was like, before I put myself, look, it was like we dating. Before I put myself out here,
no, I for sure was like,
let me make sure that I'm not, assuming our partnership.
No, in my head, like as we were talking, I was like, okay, what are we talking about next?
Yeah. So how about this? Y'all tell us what you would like for us to discuss.
We'll definitely put the Q&A out there. Like,
yeah, we definitely want to touch up on some topics that y'all want us to discuss. And we'll see you next Tuesday at 8 p.m. I love this. Thank you so much. Thank you for taking the time to watch us. Thank you, Asia, for setting us up. And thank you, Sheridan, for letting me participate in this. Like, I'm loving this. And so, we're at 2600 South Loop West, Houston, Texas, Suite 480. You do have to have an appointment to get a yoni steam. Don't just show up here. Sorry.
Okay, bye.
But go ahead and schedule your appointment at honeydipyonispa.com. We look forward to seeing you. And what about you, Sheridan?
Sheridan, Untamed Lingerie. We do have some lingerie in person at South Main Boutique. That's like a few minutes from here. But yeah, otherwise, find us Untamed Lingerie, untamedlingerie.com. We'll be back. I'll have a robe on next week.
Yay!
out there for you guys to submit some stuff you want us to talk about.
We love y'all.
Bye.
Peace.